The top 10 mistakes to avoid when buying property. Buying a decent home or investment property can be an awesome money-related resource for the buyer and his family. Buyer can abstain from committing exorbitant mistakes when buying a property. 1. Absence of research. Before buyer chooses whether he is getting a decent deal or not, he has to do some definite research to work out a market estimation of the property. The procedure is called comparative market analysis, and it's to a great degree effective when the buyer is attempting to arrange an ideal cost. Buyer has to choose the most extreme of 3 rural areas and see the greatest number of properties as he can in ideally a 6-12 week time allotment, as 2-3 months is quite a while in real estate and costs can move generously. When in doubt, examine no less than 100 properties inside that time period and document every single important feature. In case the buyer is not kidding about getting a decent deal and saving himself thousands if not a huge number of dollars, then he will be set up to contribute the time. If not, at that point the selling agent will positively have the high ground while arranging the cost with the buyer. 2. Thinking selling agents are there to help buyer. To put it gruffly, the selling agents are not there to help the buyer to get a decent deal. They are working for the seller, not the buyer. Selling agents will reveal to the buyer what they need the buyer to think about the property, and they can be exceptionally enticing, particularly when they're utilizing transaction and impacting strategies. On the off chance that buyer needs to truly know essential insights about the property, at that point he has to ask the correct inquiries and do his own particular research. Some great things to ask while doing examination are: how did buyer go to the asking price? Are there any recent sales in the road or encompassing streets that are equivalent to this home? In the event that yes, ensure the selling agent can demonstrate to him the proof of this. What are the offers so far on the property? How long has it been available on the market? These inquiries will help the buyer in gathering important information when attempting to build up a property's fairly estimated worth and the vendor's presumable flexibility on price. 3. Looking without finance approval. Another regular mistake is seeking without finance approval. The exact opposite thing buyer needs to do is to watch the home he had always wanted sneak past his fingers while another person is trading contracts, particularly while the buyer is attempting to arrange a meeting with a mortgage broker or his local bank. It can be a candidly depleting knowledge. Try not to squander time and put him on a passionate, exciting ride. Ensure buyer know the amount he can acquire before he begins his search. 4. Overstretching finances. 2 rules that on the off chance that buyer shouldn't cause himself into trouble. A. In spite of what the bank says, ensure his reimbursements are close to 25% of his aggregate household net salary. B. Try not to get over 80% of the property's estimation. That way, buyer abstains from paying mortgage insurance and he really has some value in his property in the event that there is a downhand over the market. Nowadays, the buyer can acquire loans for 90, 95 or even 100% of the purchase price. On the off chance that buyer doesn't have a 20% deposit, at that point he can afford to buy that property. 5. Overlooking inspections. Termite infestations, dodgy wiring, substandard remodels. There are numerous potential issues with any home that buyer is not liable to get himself. Exclusively around 30 to 40% of customers get all the suitable inspections. For genuine feelings of buyers, simply complete the inspections. Direct many homes are riddled with termites. It's just not worth the hazard. 6. Not factoring in running costs. Tragically, the value buyer pay for his home or investment property is just the first in a progression of home ownership costs. Before a buyer surges off and make an offer on a property, he ought to decide if he can bear the cost of the running expenses on top of the mortgage. For example, committee rates, water rates, arrive and pose and so forth. In case the buyer is buying a loft, discover how much the strata expenses are and how much cash is in the sinking fund. Strata charges regularly run from $500 to $2,500 a quarter, some of the time more. 7. Being influenced by rental guarantees. A decent property needn't bother with rental guarantees. Frequently properties marketed with rental guarantees won't accomplish the rental figure that is being insured in the present market. Furthermore, the inflated rental figure drives the arrival on investment up against the yield and enables the seller to put a higher cost on the property and as yet keeping up a yield of say 5%. A rental guarantee is a type of protection and buyers generally pay a premium for insurance. 8. Buying property sight unseen. Buying property sight unseen is a formula for disaster. Beyond any doubt, the buyer can do virtual visits on the web and so forth, yet how often have the peruse the advertisement, take a gander at the photographs, the virtual visit, and afterward upon physical review the property looks not at all like his desires. This goes for purchasing off the arrangement also. Unless buyer does a site review him or has a restrictive buyer's agent representing him, who knows precisely what he needs. Buyer is separating with a huge number of dollars. Without a doubt, he can set aside the opportunity to investigate it. 9. Restricting buyer's selection choice. Many individuals would prefer not to experience the auction experience while buying a property. They see it as excessively upsetting, enthusiastic and out of their control. The issue with this recognition is that they were altogether diminishing their property determination pool and consequently removing possibly great buys since they are not happy with the technique for sale. 10. Tuning into an excessive number of individuals. Everybody's a specialist with regards to real estate. Family, companions, work partners will all offer buyers exhortation. Some with strings joined and some without. The main way that buyer will know whether he has secured a decent property at a decent cost is whether he put in the vital hours and does the examination. In the event that he doesn't have time, at that point buyer should discover a buyer's agent to take the necessary steps for him. A great one will spare him thousands. For free samples of probates, inherited, foreclosures, absentees, landlord, vacant, code violations, evictions list, visit www.relsupermarket.com.